so Republicans have not been able to move forward with the big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump has been trying to push. I'm going to show a little quick video and then talk about exactly what the SALT bill is and go from there. So yeah, so please stay locked in until we finish the video. Hopefully you guys come out of it with a little bit more information. Let's get to it.
We are coordinating very closely with our House counterparts at the committee level, at the leadership level, and we know they have to get 218 votes. And so they're going to do what it takes to get it done in the House.
Trump calls this a big, beautiful bill. We call it the big grift. Greedy Republicans in favor of tycoons.
The American people do not support this extreme and toxic bill.
What we're actually doing, Greta, is securing Medicaid. We're shoring it up. We're going to make sure that these essential programs are there for the people who genuinely need and deserve it.
So you can see right there that both Republicans and Democrats are split on pushing the bill forward. It seems like the Republicans are going to go with it and push it forward if there are more stipulations, I guess, or restrictions on the bill as far as Medicaid. And obviously Democrats just don't want to have anything to do with it. So, and I'm going to be reading from this AP article. So it talks about the one big bill. So I'm going to be reading an article from the AP that kind of goes over what I'm trying to explain. So as you noted before, the GOP, like they said, they want to have more restrictions or more cuts to Medicaid. Like I said, I agree with more cuts. Growing up in a low income area, you kind of see people taking up all these resources and benefits, that are for people who need them. Yeah, so as you can see, like there are people who take advantage of these programs, and I definitely think that, we should definitely make some real cuts, put in some real requirements, for example, having people, actively trying to find work, while you're on food stamps. And the thing that upsets me the most about Democrats, fighting this is, you have these Democrats, and I'll use Jasmine Crockett for example. I know she, based off her past, she didn't grow up in the slums, in the hood, But if anybody who has grown up in the hood, there are people there who genuinely just take advantage of the whole welfare system in general. I know people, who lie about things for reasons, Here's a good example, like me and my wife, we couldn't get help with certain things after our daughter was born because we made too much. I mean, we weren't making a lot, but for those requirements, we made too much. So we worked. We put our money, we got a different insurance, we did things, but there are people out there, who are actually taking advantage of the system, and it's not fair for those who really need it. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. And it doesn't seem like they're actually going to be, taking away Medicaid from people in general, yeah, there are going to be people who lose Medicaid, but those are people who don't fit the requirements. Okay, so you hear people talking about, there's going to be like 8 million people without Medicaid. And I mean, if you think about it, compared to how many people, who actually have Medicaid, I mean, that's a pretty low number, and I'm all for getting rid of fraud, waste, and abuse within the welfare system. I think we definitely need to incentivize people to actually get out, go work, stay together as a family, two-parent household, and take care of yourself, be independent. Stop depending on the government and stop depending on welfare to get you through. And the funny thing is, you have these people out here, who are complaining about welfare isn't doing enough, or who are here complaining about, it's not enough money, and they're not doing anything themselves to actually try to, boost their lives. And I'm not speaking for people who actually need Medicaid. I'm not speaking for people who actually need Medicare, Social Security, all those things. We pay for those things, right? We put in money for Social Security. Listen, I'm not advocating, that we take it away from everybody, but I do believe that there definitely needs to be a lot stricter requirements when it comes to things around that. Like I said before, the Democrats, like I said, they want more requirements, more cuts to Medicaid, but The Democrats, for example, some lawmakers in New York and California and other high tax states, they say that the boost for the state and local tax deductions or SALT is insufficient. It goes from $10,000 to $30,000 for joint filers making less than $400,000 a year. And they want more. I mean, a lot more. The House Republicans, like I said, they're also looking, to shift the cost of SNAP benefits, right? The nutrition assistance program. So they're saying that the states would, pick up 5% of the cost, beginning in 2028 and 75% of the administrative cost, right? Currently, the states don't pay anything, nothing at all. And they only pay, I think, like half of the administration cost. And then, they're also wanting, or Republicans, they're also wanting to expand the work requirements, to get food. Right now, any able-bodied, adults without dependents must fulfill work requirements until they're 54, and that would change under the bill until they're 64. Also parents who are exempt from work requirements until their children are 18, right? That would change, so only the caring for a dependent child under the age of 7, that would change, so only those caring for dependent children under the age of 7 are exempt. At the same time, the legislation would invest $60 billion in new money for agriculture programs, sending aid to farmers. Okay, so it seems like they're trying to do a lot. I'm going to go back over to this one though. It says that for parents to receive SNAP, some parents currently don't have to. Some parents currently don't have to worry about work requirements until their children are 18, and it's saying that it would change so only those caring for a dependent child under 7 are exempt. So it would go from you're exempt from work requirements until your children are 18 to you're exempt from work requirements until your children are 7. I'm assuming then that right there also is initiating the parent to find work sooner rather than, the whole childhood, of the child, all the way up into adolescence to adulthood, I agree with that. There definitely needs to be more incentives to work. More incentives for people to want to be to have families. Think about it, right? If I'm at home, right, and I have a child, and I can get more money if my husband stays home, right, and maybe works a little in job here and there, and I say we're not together, right? So I don't include his income, right? I'm going to be getting money. I'm going to be getting food stamps. I'm going to be getting health benefits. Right? Literally, the Democratic government is literally incentivizing more people not to go out and work, which is why I don't agree with the Democrats when it comes to this bill. I feel like people are not looking at the bigger point. A lot of people in America, not all of them, but a lot of people in America have gotten complacent and dependent on the government. They have. Okay? There's and here's a great example. Manufacturing businesses, companies, factories, whatever, these factories held together American families, right? You can look back when these coal mines were here, back when, America were building their cars, manufacture, are working these statistically manly jobs, and they're surviving. 2-family households bringing enough money to live in these nice brick 3-bedroom, 2-bath family homes. And that's where I want to get back to. I want my children to be, hard-working American citizens, okay? And I feel like this bill will incentivize people or even force people to get out, find work, find something, to do something, to make yourself a functioning citizen in the United States of America. Okay, so like I said, the focal point on the Medicaid aspect, right? The package is nearly $800 billion in reduced spending for Medicaid. There will obviously be new eligibility requirements, or what do they call community engagement requirements of at least 80 hours of work. There would be new community engagement requirements for Medicaid. And you would have to have at least 80 hours a month of work, education, or service for able-bodied adults without dependents. The new requirement would not kick in until January 1st, 2029, after Donald Trump leaves office. They want that to happen a lot sooner. And they also want you to be able to verify your eligibility twice a year instead of once. By doing this, Republicans believe, they're going to be saving a lot of money, right? Eventually, like, the Republicans plan on saving a lot of money, with these new requirements. Obviously, because people are going to have to actually, work, right? But obviously the Democrats, they're going to be like, hey, a million people are going to lose coverage. Of course. I don't understand, why in the hell do y'all want people to be so damn dependent on the government? Like, we get that there's people who live below the poverty line. We get that there are people who can't utilize resources the way that they should, or who don't have resources, right? But I am telling you right now, in 2025, with the internet, with so much access that we have, it is damn near impossible for any American right now, to get out, get an ID, and work at McDonald's or find something to eat. Like, it is not impossible to find work, okay? It is not impossible. We need to start getting people to realize that you don't need to depend on the government, okay? And this is the thing, this is what pisses me off the most, right? There are people who come from other countries laughing at Americans right now because they don't understand the value of the country that they're in, the value of the laws and policies that we have, regardless of what party it is, the freedoms that we have to be able to go out and make money. People will literally come here to make money in America. While you have Americans sitting here crying, well, there's not enough benefits for me to be able to get through what I need. Well, how am I supposed to get my kid education? I don't even know. Well, it's like, bro, people need to take a hard look in the mirror and stop being a victim and put in a little work. The American dream is literally built on hard work to get where you want in life, or in America, okay? Hard work. Merit-based, and it pisses me off. Now, let's talk about exactly what the SALT deductions are, right? The state and local tax deductions permit taxpayers who itemize when filing federal taxes to deduct certain taxes paid to state and local governments. The tax cuts and job cuts capped is $10,000 a year, consisting of property taxes plus state income taxes or sales taxes, but not both, right? How does it work? Taxpayers who itemize may deduct up to $10,000 in property, sales, or income tax already paid to the state and local governments. Before the TCJA, there was no cap to the value of the SALT deductions. In theory, the deductions exist to offset some federal taxpayer liability by excluding income already taken in taxes for state and local governed services. Okay, you know what? We might have to find a video on this because I don't even understand what the hell I was reading.
SALT stands for state and local tax. The SALT deduction allows you to write off certain state and local income and sales tax in addition to property taxes. However, keep in mind that the SALT deduction was capped at $10,000 in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So there is definitely a limit to the amount of money that you can deduct with this write-off. During his successful presidential campaign, President Trump vowed to restore the SALT deduction back to its former glory by removing the cap. Apparently, he had a change of heart about this tax deduction. Just imagine being able to deduct all of your state taxes.
So you see, the SALT deductions are pretty much just tax write-offs that you can use, okay, so as you can see, SALT deductions are just write-offs from the state and local taxes. So like you said, right now it's the current deduction is $10,000 annually. The bill was written so it could triple, right, to $30,000 for anyone making $400,000 a year, right? We've talked about that. The GOP currently think that it's small, right? Which is why they rejected it. They're thinking of something more bigger, more like $62,000 for individuals, right? I believe it's like $123,000 for joint filers. But yeah, you see though, they definitely want more of a cap, a higher cap when it comes to the. And I honestly, I think that'd be good. I think it would be very good. I definitely think that they should push for that, and I think that they will get it done by the what did he say, by the 4th of July? That's going to be the end of this video. I just really wanted to go over that a little bit. Yeah, so now we're just going to have to wait for them to bring it back up again and see if they ever to pass it. Yeah. Hey man, make sure you comment on here, like and subscribe. If you have any comments you want to leave about what I said. I mean, I'm always about learning. So, I mean, it's not going to bother me if you agree or disagree with my point of view. If you comment down, I'll definitely try to get back at you. But yeah, make sure you love someone. Make sure you hug someone. It's a beautiful day out there. So, yeah, I'm going to see you guys. Peace.